Hi, and welcome to the next installment of our DonorScape webcast series. Today we're going to talk about why and how to verify prospects who have different capacity ratings at EN and at ENP. Before we get started, I need to tell you that names presented during all GG+A DonorScape training sessions, including this web-based and recorded video, are from public records, and they bear no relationship to any GG+A client institutions. The names were appended with fictional giving and relationship data and were included for demonstration purposes only. On today's agenda, we're going to review DonorScape's match quality filter. I'll show you how to export gift capacity ratings at EN and at ENP. Then we're going to identify the differences in Excel, and we're going to wrap up by going over some next steps and how you can apply this information. First, though, let's talk about why this matters. You could just take your gift capacity ratings at EN and just run with them if you don't have time to dig into the back-end data and verify it. That's totally fine, and it's what we recommend doing for small development shops where you don't have a full-time prospect researcher. However, you could be leaving money on the table. If you have time to verify possible matches, it could really pay off. Comparing EN and ENP ratings will result in a prioritized and more manageable list of prospects who could benefit the most from verification. Let's talk about a specific example. At EN, my prospect, Peter Nolan, has a gift capacity rating of a 4, which means he could make a stretch gift of between $100,000 and $250,000. But if we bump out our match quality and include possible matches, his gift capacity rating gets significantly better, and suddenly he looks like a prospect who can make a $10 million gift or more. So which of these ratings is more accurate? First, let's quickly review match quality, or the level of confidence we have that a specific piece of data belongs to the individual in your database. We are highly confident in exact and near matches because the address from your database matches the address in our data sources. If we include possible matches, however, that's where we need to verify whether or not this match, a match at that level, belongs to your prospect or to somebody else with the same name, who may even live in the same city. We definitely need human eyes on possible and especially simple matches because of that. Let's jump into the platform. Here's my Peter Nolan example. I'm going to start by looking at matches at EN to determine what we know for sure. We've got 2 matches of consequence at the exact and near level. One match at Dole and another match at in Seal Beach, California, which matches what's in our database. What we can also tell from these 2 matches is that Peter's middle initial is M. That's a really key piece of information, which is going to help us when we look at possible matches as well. Let's bump out and include those possible matches now. And now a bunch of new data points are going to show up. Namely, matches for SEC, FEC, and DMB. But anything that has a different middle initial, I'm just going to drop to a simple match because I'm never going to include information at the simple level. You could otherwise just delete data points that you know are false positives. Okay, so I'm going to expand my SEC and FEC and see the first thing I'm noticing when I included possible matches is that my high value SEC matches have the wrong middle initial. So I'm going to drop these to simple matches. We'll come back to FEC, but then the DNB matches, possible matches, I'm also going to drop anything that doesn't have M as the middle initial, especially these two high value. Actually, we'll leave that one because it doesn't have a middle initial. Okay. Just doing that verification will give us a good idea. Okay, so I just refreshed the page and he dropped from a 1 to a 3 already. Let's look at the FEC totals. I'm just going to click on this other page, and again, anything that doesn't have a middle initial, I'm going to leave as a possible match. But if it does have a middle initial, I'm going to drop them to simple matches if they're not the middle initial M. Peter J, Peter J, Peter J, Peter J. Here's an M. We know that's an exact match. And then these don't have initials. So I'm just going to flip these that I selected to simple matches. Okay, and then we're going to go back and see if that made any difference. Okay, he stayed a 3. Now we have a more verified rating. He's a 3 at EN or a 4 at E, or I'm sorry, he's a 4 at EN or a 3 at ENP. It's a little tighter than that 1 to 4 span at EN or ENP. The next thing I'm going to do is write a note that I verified this profile. If you're going through and doing verification like I just did to Peter, and you add notes that are consistent, so if they all start with the same name or start with the same word, like verified, you can create an advanced search based on this note field and pull up all of those profiles that you've already verified. It's also just a good way to keep track of the work you've already done. Next, we're going to export and the entire list of prospects who have different ratings. So we can figure out how many people have those different ratings at EN and EMP, and we can see who they are. We're going to start with a simple search, and I'm just going to pull up all of my prospects by clicking search. Now I want to push this list into Excel in the next step, but first I want to make sure I'm pulling in the right fields. So in the export preferences, we only really need our prospect ID, custom fields, and then our gift capacity ratings at near and at possible. That'll give us 2 columns with that gift capacity rating. I've already done this export, which I'll pull up now in Excel. I've hidden the custom fields and the other fields that we don't need right now. Because what we really want to focus on are the exact, near, and possible capacity score and the exact and near capacity score. Now this is my entire DonorScape database, so there's more than 10,000 prospects here. And what we really just want to see are people whose scores are different. So I'm going to add a new column where we're going to look to see if they're the same at those 2 levels. We're going to do that by adding a formula called exact, where we want to see if this column is exactly the same as that column. If it is, it'll say true. If it's not, it will say false. We're going to expand that to the entire list. And now I'm going to apply filters to my header. And then I want to drop the true out of that field so that we're only getting our false These are the people who do not have the same ratings at ENP and EN. That gives us 731 prospects who do have those different ratings. If your list is small, you can just work from this spreadsheet and look people up by their prospect IDs and verify them like I did with Peter. You can further prioritize this list by sorting them I would recommend, or if I were doing this, I would look at the ENP capacity ratings from smallest to largest. So here we have people like Peter. Actually, this is probably Peter, who started as a 1 at ENP, but looks like a 4 at EN. So these are your people who could pay off the most from that verification process. However, if your list is really long, you can globally update an unused custom field. That is an admin function in the DonorScape platform. I'm going to breeze through this part. There are instructions and a template that you can use located in the updating prospect information section. This is a really handy process because once your new custom field is configured with this information, you can easily run an advanced search and then get this list of prospects within the DonorScape platform. This is also why I said to include custom fields, which I'll unhide now, because we want to use a field that is completely blank. We don't want to overwrite something that's already in a client-defined field. In my example, we're going to use client-defined field 3 since there's only blanks in this column. Yours will be different though. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back in the admin section and I'm going to label my field 3 different GCR at ENP. And then I'm going to change it to a yes indicator. I'm going to save my newly configured custom field. And then here is the update prospect information section. The second thing here is where you will eventually upload your configured CSV file. There's a template that you can download and also instructions that will walk you through what I'm also walking you through right now. The template is really handy because it has the headers configured for you, and you can just copy and paste those over your spreadsheet. Back in Excel, I've already copied, let's see, I've already copied what I was doing here with my same indicator into a new spreadsheet because we want it to look a little bit different when we do upload it back into DonorScape. So like I said, from the template, I grabbed prospect ID and account ID, these are the only 2 required fields for a prospect field update. So I copied those over and I added my account ID, which in this case is 4201. And then client-defined field 3 is where we're putting this. It needs to be configured exactly like this, not what I just changed it to. So I just grabbed this from the template header as well. And then I changed the word false to just that Y or yes indicator. So here are my 700 prospects that have those different ratings at EN and ENP. Like I said, this needs to be saved as a CSV. And then you can just upload it here by finding your file and clicking upload. It's pretty quick. It shouldn't take more than a few minutes because it's not all that much information that you're uploading to the DonorScape platform. When your upload is finished, the very last thing I'll show you is how to find what you just did. So you can then do an advanced search for that field. In my case, it was CDF3 is equal to Y. And then I haven't done it yet, but once your upload is finished, you'll be able to save this search, then breeze through that list of prospects. All right, hopefully this gives you some ideas. If you need help recreating this process or want to discuss, feel free to reach out to us by emailing support@DonorScape.com. Thank you.